Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and in today's video, I just wanted to have a little chat about media, whether it's movies, music, or content being pushed through our social media feeds. These things are readily available at our fingertips. We have smart devices or a quick click of the remote on the TV screen or a short trip down to the cinema. Media is everywhere. And at least from where I'm seated, it feels like the conversation around media has become very negatively charged in that we are warned not to consume too much media. And while I believe that media should be consumed very mindfully, I think in some ways we've started to demonize media and have taken away some of its magic. The saying everything in moderation definitely comes to mind, and I think in healthful, mindful doses, media can be just that. At the root of it, media is educational and entertaining, so in an effort to bring back some of that magic and help us reconnect with media in a very mindful way, I thought I'd share some introspective moments that I've personally had with media in this past month. Let's kick things off with some music. Music at a very high level bird's eye view is just one of the most moving pieces of media I think we have, and it speaks to us quite literally through lyrics, but also through the symphony of beats. And just as a dancer, I identify so much with the emotional resonance of music. I feel like I'm kind of talking off into a tangent, but music just has a way of moving us spiritually, emotionally, and physically that I feel like is very unique to its form. The very introspective moment, or I should say moments, that I've had with music this past month lie in the Olivia Rodrigo's Tiny Desk concert, and specifically that concert. I first heard about Olivia Rodrigo, I want to say a year or so ago, from my brother and his girlfriend at the time, and they kept talking about Olivia Rodrigo, driver's license. Oh, my brother kept saying, oh, I think you really like this artist. And I remember listening to Driver's License at the time. Olivia has an incredible voice, but at the same time, there wasn't really anything that really drew me to her. So I kind of just dropped it. She was in the back of my mind, but not someone that I actively listened to. Well, a couple weeks ago, my husband got sick, unfortunately, and thankfully he's fine. It was just a couple of days that he was out, not feeling great, and he called in sick from work, and it was a rare Friday where we were both home at the same time. I was trying to be mindful and, give him his space, but also kind of keep an eye and an ear out for him to make sure if he needed anything, I was there. And this was kind of when he was starting to recover, was moving around a little bit more, so I thought I'd put on some music, and I started to loop through some Tiny Desk concerts, and a couple of videos into it suggested Olivia Rodrigo's Tiny Desk concert. So I let it play. I don't even know what exactly it was that just pulled so tightly onto my heartstrings, or what that is even unearthing. I'm still not quite sure, but her Tiny Desk performance just it teleported me back to the angsty teen in middle school and high school, stumbling through just what seemed like at the time earth-shattering romance. I'll leave a link to her Tiny Desk concert and links to everything that I talk about today in the description box below, so you can check her out. She is speaking to my soul, and she's telling a story that I think I've been pushing away. And again, I don't know quite what that is, but numerous occasions it has brought me to my knees and to tears. So I'm just gonna continue to sit with that and see where it takes me. But I especially love her finale, which is Deja Vu. I've had that on repeat. I'll listen to the whole concert all the way through, but have found myself looking most forward to Deja Vu. It's just, it's It's so funny. And if you read through the comments on that video, you can see how it brings a lot of people back to their angsty teen romance driven selves. So it's something. It's really something special. Let's get into some social media. So recently I listened to a podcast on the Lavender Lifestyle where she interviewed a guest by the name of Sam. And Sam is this manifestation and mindset coach. And I remember just being completely enthralled with her voice, her message, the clarity in which she delivered this message, and got very curious about wanting more of her content. So I sought her out on TikTok and Instagram, which were the links and platforms that the Lavender Lifestyle had directed me to. And I found that I had already previously liked some of Sam's TikTok videos. So she is on TikTok and Instagram as @simplifying.sam. I also discovered that she has a podcast called Spiraling Higher with her co-host Gina, who is a business and mindset coach. Hopefully I don't have those roles flipped, but it is just an incredible podcast. I mean, I have been devouring episode after episode, and I don't believe that it was coincidence that I was connected with Sam's content at this time in my life. Now that I'm stepping back into making content consistently and just kind of wading out of these very treacherous, I don't want to say treacherous, but very challenging waters of anxiety and depression and struggling to come back and show up for myself, basically. Their podcast is all about manifestation and mindset and healing past wounds so that we can be ready to accept what the universe or the greater powers of this world have in store for us. I do believe that me finding Sam's podcast or Sam's podcast being delivered to me at this time is truly a manifestation of self-compassion and just wanting to be more patient with myself. I truly believe that this is the moment that I was supposed to connect with her and her message. Sam and Gina's podcast, Spiraling Higher, as well as Sam's TikTok videos are just wonderful, concise messages on what it means to truly manifest through forgiveness, staying present, and loving unconditionally. It really is something that I can't recommend enough. So I'll leave links to the podcast in the description box below. Definitely something that I would say is a media favorite from this past month. Another social media favorite from this past month that really inspired a lot of introspection for me was from Tina at Overall Adventures. I'm sure you're all familiar with Tina. She is just an absolute bundle of joy and such a free spirit. My memory of this timeline is a little bit fuzzy, but I believe Tina had reached out to me when I announced that I was going to be taking a break from YouTube to go to nail school and just kind of deal with some other business in my life. And I just so appreciated hearing from her. Her kindness and her words of encouragement were exactly what I needed in that moment, in a moment where I was feeling uncertain if this was okay. I was feeling quite anxious about taking a break from YouTube. You have all these fears, or I had all these fears come up of what if I lose momentum and what if everyone is upset with me? So just a lot of not so nice things that I was thinking about what could happen. I started watching Tina's videos a few years ago, and she was one of my biggest inspirations for wanting to get back into journaling and to start making YouTube videos around, journaling and stationery. So Tina, if you're watching this, this is just a thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing what you do share on YouTube, because it's exactly what I needed at that time a few years ago, and is what I needed when I was feeling scared about taking a break from YouTube, and it's what I needed to come back to YouTube. And I don't know why, I am feeling also quite nervous saying thank you in this video, because I feel like my expression of gratitude will not suffice. It does not match what I feel inside, but many more thank yous to come your way, Tina, just for being you and for setting an example, really, of just allowing journaling and life to take you on the wonderful adventure that it is. If for some reason you have not watched Tina's videos yet, I want to direct you to one that I especially loved recently, which was her epic stationery unboxing, where she shares some Danica 58 notebooks, which now I feel like I need in my life. I just loved her very candid expression of her unboxing. I think it's kind of what we all hope to feel, is just finding that perfect notebook that leaves us feeling speechless. And I absolutely adore her in every single way. So go watch her videos if you're not doing so already. For the past 16 years, I've shamelessly looped through Gilmore Girls. It is my safe show. It is the show that I turn to when I turn on the TV. I just default to Gilmore Girls. And I remember seeing a TikTok, funnily enough, that was talking about how people with anxiety tend to have a safe show where they will just watch and rewatch the same show over and over again, because it is quite comforting to know that we already know what's going to happen next. And I think that speaks a lot to my anxious tendencies. I am quite the planner and I like to have things controlled, which I'm trying to work on. So that in it of itself drives a lot of introspection that I will continue to dive deeper into. Specifically, I wanted to talk about Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life. So when A Year in the Life first debuted, I was very hesitant to watch it. I sort of prolonged and put it off, really. I wasn't ready to watch it. So I remember letting a couple months pass before I actually did sit down to watch it. And when I did sit down to watch it, I took my time, sort of just, again, not wanting it to end, but all good things have to come to an end. And Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life came to an end, and it absolutely destroyed me. I won't give it away if you haven't watched the show, but I only watched A Year in the Life once. It wasn't the ending that I was hoping for. There were a lot of things that I disliked about it. I was so utterly dissatisfied with it, and from there I just figured I'd stick to what I'd always known previously, which was the original show. For some reason, this past month, I decided to try watching A Year in the Life again. Once I looped through the series, it wasn't as painful this time around. Maybe it's because I already knew what was going to happen, but I just felt something within me shift that was ready to accept this ending to the story, this ending that I had not known previously. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I just feel like it is a part of me that is growing and learning how to accept when things don't play out as I desire, and also trying to find the good in things that I may not jive with right off the bat. I think in a lot of ways too, watching the original series into the Year in the Life, it kind of signals and symbolizes to me this shift of my own life, where I am moving away from this original series, original season of me that I've known and loved and have fallen into such a well-oiled routine with, and now saying, hey, there's something beyond what I've known my life to be. There's something more to this 31 years of life I've lived. I just feel like there's a very distinct jump that's about to happen, and I don't know what that jump is. I just know that it's coming, and I feel less afraid of it. Obviously, the Gilmore Girls in a Life is going to be a continued introspection for me, but it is something that really did something to me, and we'll continue to ponder that one. Thanks so much for joining me for my July reflections, some mindful moments and introspection that I had with media this past month. I would love to hear from you. What media has spoken to you recently? Please feel free to drop that in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to share it with a friend who you think might also enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe and to turn on those notifications. That way you don't miss any of our videos. I've been doing my best to upload every Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific time, so please take care until then. Feel free to enjoy some videos linked here on the screen. Thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.